You are now listening to
Likely to Dispute,
hosted by Monkas, Reed, and Tyler. How's everybody doing? It's Cevan, aka the Monkas. Joining with me today, as always, is Tyler and Reed. This is episode 31 of Likely to Dispute.
We have another very fun episode this week, recapping week 4 of the Fine Dining season and giving a nice look into week 5, a very riveting week, pivotal week for a lot of teams. But first, we have a quick trade to talk about before we have an intro. We did have a trade go down. One of our hosts was involved. Cevan sent a 2027 first-round pick, and the Raiders' fifth-string wide receiver, Jack Besh, to Schrader for Xavier Worthy. So, Cevan, very quickly, give your thoughts on the trade, why you did it. Obviously, we all can kind of understand why you did it, but give your thoughts on it just briefly here.
Yeah, first I want to start by saying no Jack Besh slander. He's the fourth string wide receiver. But yeah, obviously everybody knows Malik Neighbor is out for the season. T. Higgins might as well be. And my only other real option receiver-wise on the bench was Stephon Diggs, which is looking better. But just wanted to kind of shore up the receiver room. I took a look around the teams. I was interested in Devontae from Tyler, but that was more of a backup option. Specifically, Devontae versus Worthy for me. Worthy fits my timeline a little better. He also
What timeline is that?
just like no, I'm sorry, his timeline. Like he's only here too. Sorry. Yeah.
Flustered.
So like long term, it also I thought benefited me as well. But I really have no first left. So I've already dished out the 2 and 27. I'm looking to ship out 1 and 28. And yeah, basically that's all. I just needed to fill a void. I thought buying someone who looked good in the one game he played this year, looked good towards the end of last year. Probably should buy some time before Rice gets back, and then we'll see how they actually look when they play together. So
Yeah.
that's all.
I don't really care what Keep Trade Cut says on this. This trade doesn't make sense for Schrader. He already has 7 million picks. What is getting a first round pick that, if you're lucky, turns into Xavier Worthy do here? Like, I get if he wants to trade other pieces that are older that, may not be helpful past this year or next year, but Xavier Worthy's 22. That's how old whatever player he's going to pick in the first round or trade back from in this offseason. So doesn't really make sense for me from Schrader's perspective, but if he's just trying to lose as many games as possible, he's doing a great job. But yeah, it just doesn't make sense for me. Tyler, any thoughts?
Same thoughts for me.
Same thoughts for you. So
Yep.
not an unfair trade value wise, by the way. Just doesn't really make he doesn't have a plan. He's just kind of doing whatever feels good at the moment. So
Did you want to talk about your trade real quick?
I mean it's technically 2 weeks old now, but
yeah,
I mean after Burrow got hurt, traded Chuba in a third for Derrick Henry in a fourth. Derrick Henry gives me more upside, even if Chuba might be around longer. Potentially the Lamar injury might give Henry more than the 8 carries he's getting for the Ravens. I'm never going to advocate for teams running the ball more, but the last 2 games, somehow they have not run the ball enough, which is unbelievable to say with the Ravens. But yeah, just giving me some more ceiling. I'm not going to be able to replace Joe Burrow's production and what he does for Jamar Chase, but hopefully I can try to make up for it in other areas. And that was kind of a cheap way to do it for me. So any quick thoughts on that from you guys?
no, I mean Henry's first few games of this season have somewhat been a gauntlet in terms of running defenses, so I'm sure he'll pick up maybe after the bye, week 8 and beyond, it looks like, just looking at the schedule.
Yeah, I not like I've had him for 2 games and he's pretty much been useless, but thankfully I haven't needed him to score points. I've been able to handle both my matchups without him producing well. So I'm hoping that he can get all of his duds out of the way now, and then he can just go ham the rest of the season. But I guess we'll see on that one. Cevan, any quick thoughts there?
Yeah, I think it's perfectly fine trade for both. The only thing about Henry is he's not game script proof, which kind of
No.
sucks. And we saw that play out the last 2 weeks. If the Ravens need a pass, he's just not on the field. So,
Yeah,
but yeah,
I think that's a good point too because the Ravens defense is so bad that it like in the past it's always been solid to even great at times and like it keeps them in games, it keeps Henry on the field. And now that their defense is just god awful, I am a little worried he's going to get schemed out of some games because they just can't stop anybody, especially like Lamar being out will absolutely obviously increase his volume because Cooper Rush isn't going to be running the offense like Lamar, but teams will be able to key in on the run more often. They might be trailing more often, in which case less Henry. So I think it'll probably end up being a net neutral for him, but I can't say I'm not worried, but obviously none of the stuff that after I traded for him in post week 2 are things I could have seen as far as a Lamar injury, their defense continuing to get shredded with injuries, like kind of out of my control at that point, but still confident he gives me a higher ceiling than Chuba does at least, who maybe has a better week to week floor.
Yeah, that all makes sense.
Tyler, take us away.
All right. Well, we can go ahead and move on to our opener here, which is a couple low stakes rants about the first 4 weeks of the season. We each talked about something a little bit different here. So we can just go to left to right here. Cevan, your rant that you just want to say a little something about is Caleb Johnson. So what's going on with him?
yeah. Caleb Johnson, someone the rookie draft. His ADP was in the top 10. I think people just the people that got him there just loved the film, kind of maybe overlooked the draft capital. Definitely in hindsight, you can see where he probably should have been, an early second pick. I so far took the bait. The one thing, or I guess the thing that's frustrating is, the snap percentage, 4%, 3%. Then he got benched completely after that week 2 fumble, or not fumble, but mishap on the kick return. And then he seemingly he's going to get his first opportunity. Jalen Warren is a last second scratch, and it's just completely Kenneth Gainwell. Caleb saw 6 opportunities, got 22 yards. Looked fun when he had the ball. It's just his play style. He needs volume to be. He's the type of back that gets better as the game goes on, and he's not getting any volume whatsoever. Uh, might be an Arthur Smith thing, as he's killed running backs in the past, but so far a month in the season, uh, not seeing the benefits of my first round pick.
Yeah, I would say he's been a tough watch, but there hasn't been much to watch. So, understandable that he's got you feeling pretty low right now with in regards to where you drafted him. So I don't have
Yeah.
much else to add there. Read anything on KJ?
It just stings a lot more when you think about Egbuka and Warren going at 2-1 and 2-2 in that or not 2-2. I think it was like 1-11 and 2-1.
Yeah.
That
Yes,
makes it even tougher.
That's a
So
good point.
definitely.
Okay, Reed, you have a head coach here, and that's going to be Zach Taylor of the Cincinnati Bengals. What has he done to make you upset?
I just don't know how he still has a job. I mean, it's quite clear. I mean, this isn't the first time Burrow's gone down. Not the first time they missed the playoffs last year. I just don't understand this guy still has a job. Like you see how many holes Burrow covers up, and even with Burrow playing at a top 3 level last year, they still missed the playoffs. And now that Burrow's out, he shows just how uncreative the scheme that he has is. He can't scheme. Again, we're only 2 weeks into Jake Browning, and they've played 2 very, very good defenses. But regardless, nobody is open. Their only chance to gain yards are just throwing up a one-on-one to one of their 2 studs on the outside if they get it. Like the offense continually, repeatedly has violation penalties, whether it be false starts, illegal shifts, illegal formation, just constantly shooting themselves in the foot. And again, for someone who's had no real success outside of basically one Super Bowl run that they lost, I just don't understand how he still has a job. And I think they need to get something to get this team going if they want anything to hope the rest of the year is going to turn out well because they're 2-2 right now and they still have the Lions and the Packers over the next 2 weeks. So this could get really ugly really fast.
Yeah, it definitely could. Talking about Jamar Chase real quick, he's still 101 in redraft leagues at the beginning of the year. And usually when you think of someone at the 101 spot, they're matchup proof, they're quarterback proof. And Jamar Chase has not been that this year. He has been very lackluster in 3 or 4 weeks, and I'm sure that's frustrating for you owning him right now because well, you can't really sit him, so you just have to start him. And like I said, 3 of these 4 weeks, it's been single digits. So what can you really do? So
Yeah. I mean that's the tough part is, obviously a lot of my season was based on the Burrow Chase connection. Anybody's season would if you had those two, and it's just tough not only to deal with Burrow but also taking away a huge chunk of Chase's production. So we're trying to get through it.
Swan, any thoughts there on Zach Taylor?
Same sentiment. I own T. Higgins, so it's been the same. Both of them have been in double digits once and single digits 3 times. So it's not a fun watch watching the Bengals. Last night was, I mean, I don't
Maybe
even know how to
not
describe.
worse than the week before, but just about as bad.
Yeah, they're on the field for 3 plays and punting, or they're just chucking it up to whoever has the one-on-one, um, or handing it off to Chase Brown getting stuff. So it's bad on both sides of the ball too. So
I mean, they were down 28-3 last night in the fourth quarter on like the 40-yard line with a 4th and 3, and then they punted it. It was like, what are you doing at that point? What is the harm in going for it? You know, lose by
Yeah,
more? Just stupid.
yep, definitely. Well, I put down here the Titans offense. It's been really, really, really bad. I am an owner of Cam Ward, Elic Manor, and Chigakonkwo. That's more Titans than I probably cared to own going into the season. Uh, but that's where I'm at right now. And this offense has just been putrid. It's to the point now where you have to wonder, is throwing Cam Ward out there every week just to get slaughtered doing more harm than good? It really feels like that right now. And the most one of the biggest bummers to me, and I'm sure this isn't that big of a bummer compared to everyone else's expectations, but I was excited to get Manor in the rookie draft. And he's had 7, 6, 5, and 7 targets through 4 weeks, which are pretty respectable target numbers for a fourth round rookie. But he just that hasn't turned into much production for him. And these games are not competitive for the Titans right now, and it looks really bad. I don't know how they're gonna. It's really hard to see how this offense gets going. They've already switched play callers, and it didn't look like it made a difference at all. Um, Not feeling good about it. It's bad.
yeah, they switched play callers and somehow got worse.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, no, I feel this. I'm an owner of Ridley in another league, and the targets have been there every game, and it hasn't amounted to anything. So I don't know. Uh, yeah, I don't think it's what anybody expected. I'm not sure what the expectations for the Titans were. I think really the only thing I honestly heard about the Titans, I don't see too much, was it's not Will Levis, and so that should make a difference, and it hasn't.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean,
When we talked about really this offseason, it was like, okay, everything's the same except they probably got a quarterback upgrade, and
Yeah.
somehow everything else has regressed to put Cam Ward in an impossible spot.
yeah, and even like Pollard, who's probably the best fantasy asset right now, he's looked solid, but he's even putting up modest fantasy numbers just because the offense isn't scoring points.
Hmm.
And just another little thing here is if the Titans aren't scoring points, their opponents aren't really feeling the need to be super competitive in their drives either. So you're just getting like these games that just trudge by when the Titans are on offense, and then their opposition's just milking as much time away as they can because they don't really have to worry about the Titans competing with them, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's just kind
Brian
of a slog of
Callahan
a game.
is a
Yeah,
fitting disciple of Zach Taylor after my rant.
there we go. Well, enough of that. Let's talk about the week 4 matchups in fine dining. First up, we had Sandy taking a W over K. This one was 112-95. Sandy's stud of the week was Bijan Robinson, of course, and the dud was AJ Brown, 2.7, posting some cryptic messages. Who knows what's going on with him? K stud
Let
was
me explain this one because I put this one down.
okay. Chris
Yes,
Godwin.
5.6 points is not a stud number, but in a game where he had basically nobody have a good game, I think it was really a huge deal that Godwin came back in his first game, had 10 targets, played almost every passing or was out there for nearly all of the dropbacks for the Bucks. So while his numerically it was obviously not a stud performance, the fact that he got 10 targets and played the whole game in his first game back is really important for someone like him who desperately needed another flex type player to kind of fill roles after he had some injuries. So that's why I put the stud there, what I think is important to note on Godwin,
That's some
who's
good nuance. I do like that.
who's somehow looking better than Josh Downs at this point. So
Yeah. And rounding it out, K's dud is Jameson Williams with 5.7. Any other thoughts from you fellas on this matchup? I didn't pay too close attention to this one, but it was pretty low scoring.
yeah, I'll just to finish up what I was saying there. Yeah, a low scoring game, not one that is pretty to look at. Sandy had a huge performance from Bijan and then a passable day from Jalen Hurts, and that was about enough to get him by. I mean, Cam K was at least not starting Hunter Renfrow this week in the Superflex. He was starting Jalen Tolbert, who did put up 10 points, but you know, Jay Daniels is expected to be back this week, so hopefully a big boost for his lineup. But anytime you're starting a non-quarterback in the Superflex, you're getting you're already at a disadvantage. And then put the fact that he's starting a Hunter Renfrow, Jalen Tolbert-esque player, and he's just behind the eight ball at that point. So I still support your message at the end of last episode, Tyler, that he needs to get his ass in gear and start making some trades with you for some of your players.
Yeah, I can agree with all that. Cevan, anything here?
Only thing for me is it's always nice when your opponent scores less than 100. Usually a lock for a win. So way to squeak that one out. Get to 3-1. Shout out Sandy. Last year we doubted him and he was the 2 seed. This year we doubted him and he's 3-1, right up there with half the league. So
Yeah. Real quick, 1 to 10. How worried it goes about AJ Brown? One being not worried at all, 10 being the most worried. You don't give your reason or anything, just your number real quick here.
Like rest of season,
say
you're saying?
Rest of season, yes.
say 5.
5?
Yeah.
Reed?
Probably a 7.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with a 7 as well.
Like the talent's obviously undeniable, but they don't need to throw to win games because everything else is so good. And I think he's just going to be more volatile than he has been in the past. He'll still have big games, but he's just not going to be as consistent as he used to be.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, well, we can keep it going here. We had an electric matchup here. High scoring teams. They probably both deserved to win here, but it was Deshaun facing off against Cam Thorn, top of the league. Deshaun finished with 158, Thorn with 171. Thorn, his stud, and man, has he been a stud all year. Puka Nacua, 36 points. Dud, if you can call it, and it is a dud. Bryce Young with 11.3. Swerly's stud was Ashton Genty in his breakout game, 34.5. Caleb Williams in the same game, only scoring 12.4. Thoughts from you guys?
I want to start here because I have to deliver a special message. Last night at 10:15, Cam Thorne texted me and said, "Please let the pod know that the Bryce Young experiment is over." So
Wow.
a very sad day here on the pod. He was a staunch supporter, talking him up all offseason, made a trade for him, and he's officially lost hope. And I think that's a really sad thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's good, Savon.
I was just gonna say, um, yeah, I mean, Bryce has been pretty bad for fantasy all year. His one relevant game was when he threw the ball 55 times against Arizona, which is obviously not sustainable. You're going to be more around that 30-35 mark. So yeah, Bryce for fantasy was always an experiment. Um, and Cameron's calling it quits here a month into the season.
Well, the good news is he's got two other starting
So
quarterbacks to kind of yeah, I mean not great options, but at least he has two starting quarterbacks here to kind of lean back on. And sitting at 3-1 now, you have to assume he'll probably try to be aggressive here moving forward. Maybe he'll try to swing a big trade for a quarterback or something. But um, yeah, I mean just another incredibly impressive performance from a team that no one other than Cevan here predicted for a big year. I mean, his wide receivers are awesome. James Cook is awesome. Like Tyler Warren's awesome. He's got the pieces here. Um, and I'm very impressed.
Yeah, I have to tip my cap. I think I was too worried about his quarterback situation, but the rest of his team has really raised his floor, and there's potential. I mean, he's facing me this week. I'm bottom of the barrel. We'll get to that, but there's potential. He's
Wow,
4 and
rude.
1 with quarterbacks of Darnold, Tagovailoa, and Bryce Young, so that's pretty respectable. And
Um,
he, good.
no, go ahead. If you had something else on
I was
Cam.
gonna no, no, I didn't. I was gonna switch it to Deshaun.
Okay, yeah, go ahead then.
I was just gonna ask if you guys have any thoughts on Deshaun's performance this week.
I
No, great week.
Yeah, just it's just losing a game like that sucks. I mean, almost putting up 160, nearly 160 and losing is just a tough break. But I wanted to pose the question here, very similar to the last one. Swerly's sitting here at 1-3, but he is fourth in the league in points scored. So, obviously there's signs there, but he's third in points against. What is your panic level at for Swirly here at 1-3, knowing that you got to be at least 7-7 to make the playoffs in the league?
Yeah, for me, it's about a five because he's got the talent and he's like you just stated, he's putting up the points to do it. Um, uh, uh, you got to go above 500 now the rest of the way to have a shot to get that six seed with how the top half of the league's performing, five teams being 3-1. There's Swirly's 2 games back now just from being a six seed. But there's a lot of time left. So yeah,
I
Oh,
I also think it's important to note here who he's played. He's already played Tyler, who is again not his scoring is one of the better teams right now. He has already played Sandy, who while at 3-1 is also not one of the top scoring teams in the league, and he's already played Trent. But that also means that those are his three double up games that he'll play again in weeks 11, 12, or 12, 13, and 14. So he still has a lot of really good teams to play left that are scoring a lot of points here. So I think it's very, very worthwhile to panic on him. But I'd also agree I'm like a 5 or a 6. Like not that he has a bad team. His team is still really good. He's third in points scored. But when you're already down against the wall like this, you can't have more games like this where your
yeah,
opponent just goes off out of your control because then you just get screwed and one or two more of these plus whatever variation will happen with your own team like you're just going to get screwed at that point. So he
I
he
mean,
needs to run really pure with his points against here the rest of the season.
this is what happened to Shams last year.
Yep. He who must not be named.
So, yeah,
one
I'm there with the 6 as well.
one other note, I know he's kicking himself because obviously he's got three startable quarterbacks, and if had he just started Bo over one of them, he would have won. So he already mentioned that to me that you know whatever. But his thought process was the Bears were playing the Raiders, and both pass defenses sucked, even though Bo was playing the Bengals. Uh, he was going to be watching the game, so he wanted to watch both. But that's a tough break right there. Your one start sit. It happens every week. Your one start sit decision away from a win or a loss, and those are the ones that sting too, especially to put you at 1-3.
Hmm.
Yeah, definitely. All right, we could go to the next one here. This one was also fairly high scoring. We got Rob coming out on top against Schrader. Rob scoring 161, Schrader 137. Rob's stud was Quentin Johnson. He's been great. Stud was Juwan Johnson. Schrader's stud was Josh Jacobs, who had a great game. And his stud was Jerry Judy. I'll go ahead and start here if that's okay with you fellas. Rob's also has one of those teams that's been scoring quite a bit of points. Uh, maybe one of you is checking his points for. I don't remember off the top of my head,
He is first.
but he
Oh,
is
sorry, no,
first.
sorry, he's not first. He's Cam Thorne's first.
He's
Okay.
He's
third.
third.
Okay. I
He's
thought you
third by
just said
2 points to
Deshaun
Cevan. Sorry,
is.
sorry. Deshaun is fourth
Oh,
by
okay.
3 points. Start the from like two all the way down to five. They're split by like 6 points.
Okay. Okay.
So it's all really
Uh,
close there.
yeah. I mean, this probably this has to feel great for Rob after he had some really close matchups earlier in the season. So Quentin Johnson looks like the real deal. He is the Chargers receiver I'd want for the rest of the season. I believe Cevan agrees with me there. And on Schrader's side of things, it was nice to see him put up a competitive performance. I know a loss, but 137 points is nothing to be too upset about, especially with that roster.
Yeah, for the first time this year, Rob did not play the highest scoring non his own team of the league that week. So he did see Schrader's best effort at putting up a fight, but Rob continues to stack good weeks and well, not continue. He had a couple of down weeks, but he is able to bounce back to put himself at 2-2 and not be at that 1-3 spot. And I think that's a good sign for him moving forward because he's still got a lot of games left against teams that have not been scoring very well so far.
Yeah, and for me, just off the duds perspective, Juwan Johnson got off to a huge start, and knowing that the Saints were in the game late into the fourth quarter and Juwan Johnson wasn't a part of that kind of sucks. It's fine that he had a down week because you won by 34 points. And then on Schrader's side, Jerry Jeudy, the perceived wide receiver one for the Browns, in a negative game script the entire game, as always. Um, Seeing the targets, it's really kind of been the story of Judy's season. He's seen the targets in every game, just not connecting. Sneaky Browns, Isaiah Bond, watch out with Tillman on IR, but that's irrelevant. And then, touching on QJ, I do believe he is the receiver to have rest of the season. He's led all 4 weeks, most targets, receptions, yards, and touchdowns. He's actually quite a story. He was written off early into his career, and then especially after last year. And then just to flip a switch, I don't know what happened, but he looks really good. So that is, great for Rob and whatever he wants to do with his lad QJ combination. Really, it's a shout out to Rob for, you know, being able to make that switch in the lineup and not living with regret. Um, if you get what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully, Lad will be available now. I'm still checking in, but no dice.
All right. Go to the next one here. This was Reed and I's matchup. Reed finished with 152. I finished 125. Drake London had a great game. His Reed stud. Dud was Jamar Chase, who we've briefly talked about already. My only stud was Justin Fields in garbage time last night. And my dud was Christian Kirk. If you can even call Christian Kirk a dud, he just needed to put someone in my lineup. So, Reed, I'll let you go first here because you got the win.
Yeah, I got the win, but the, I didn't have anybody, I just had a solid week all around. Like nobody really had a huge week, like 25 solid from London, but nobody had a crazy week. But it's just so depressing to see how bad the not Broncos, the Bengals looked again. That, if they can't get anything going, like I just don't know how I'm going to be able to make it through without Chase looking at least close to a top 12 receiver. So, um, yeah. I don't want to be that guy and bitch and moan after a 153-point win, but I just was so discouraged that it kind of overshadowed the week. But Kenneth
Yeah,
Walker got some more usage per as he should. Drake London was back. The Falcons looked good again. Ferg caught his first touchdown since 2023, and Dak looked awesome. So there's a lot of good things that happened for me, but it's hard not to focus on the negatives because that was the guy, Jamar and Joe. So we'll see.
I don't have too much to talk about on my end of things. I mean, my team, if you look at the scores of each player, were again pretty mid, pretty similar to week three. But Fields is when he's playing and when he is playing at an elite fantasy level, because I know we disagree on if he has been a good quarterback this year. But when he's playing at an elite fantasy level, it is just so nice to have him in your lineup with that upside he has. So I don't have too much to talk about on the rest of my team. It's pretty boring these days. So
Tyler, I'm surprised. I thought your rant would have been the Washington backfield. how they're just dead set on having all three of them be like perfectly
I
split
was
in their
second.
time. And JCM's got juice. Like Bill has juice,
I
I can
know.
confirm, but they just keep him in like a perfect three-way committee with Rodriguez and
Unfortunately, he also has
McNichols.
a little bit of Caleb Johnson in him and sucks at pass blocking.
Mm,
So
hate
I
that.
think, yeah, that's keeping him off the field a little too much. But I mean, I'm not. Yeah, I'll be watching that all season. But um, yes, that was in consideration. Let's go to the next one here. We have Cevan
What
facing
did
off.
Savon, did you have any thoughts on our matchup?
Oh, sorry.
Hope you're good. You got
Okay.
it.
Cool. Cevan facing off against Ian. This was a close one. Cevan won 140 to 132, sending Ian to 1-3. Cevan's stud was Travis Etienne, scoring 19.5. Stud was T. Higgins, who we've also briefly talked about. Ian had a great week from Marion Hampton at 27.5, and his dud was David Njoku, and Ian's tight end position looks like a black hole right now. Savan, do you want to start us off here talking about this matchup?
Yeah, sure. It was a little stressful at the end. Was up 13 going into the second Monday night game. Chase Brown versus T. Higgins. Uh, I mean, Chase Brown was serviceable, but T. Higgins with Jake Browning is just not a thing. So I was upset. Biggest news in this matchup, as I already stated, Neighbors out for the year. I want to call out Ian for having the audacity to say he wishes Ricky and Lamar finished the game. Yeah, buddy, me too. That would have been that. But yeah, as we called out last week, we had a glitch in the matrix with Ian's picture, and on the podcast called out if he gets hurt, it's Reed's fault. Well, he got hurt, and it looks like he's going to be missing the next, one,
That
two,
is
maybe even
wild.
th three games. So,
Good
uh,
callback.
you heard
I
it here
still have
first, but
never ever seen that happen. I don't even know why that happened in slides. We'll see if it happens again on his picture this time. I just completely random, but I think it's quite clear that was an omen at this point to tell us
yeah.
what was to come.
But as far as my stud, Travis Etienne against the 49ers, he broke off that huge run. And outside of that run, he was still very good. He's on the season averaging over 6 yards per carry on over 60 touches. So very pleasant surprise this season. Travis Etienne has looked like his 2023 self. Um, and it's really undisputable at this point that he's great. So happy to squeak out, an 8-point win. Scored 140, so probably over the league average.
Nothing
Always
to
good
bat an
to,
eye at.
yeah. Wait, what?
Sorry, no, I was saying that's a respectable score. You didn't,
Yeah,
squeak out a lucky victory. Like 140 is a respectable
yeah,
score to get a win with.
yeah. Tough for Ian though, getting 132, losing by 8. But it's how it draws. He drops to 1-3, which we're all happy to see. We all picked him, and we were all wrong.
Um, if I could pop in here,
Yeah,
him and Swerly, like as we already talked about, both 1-3. Both of them are second and third in points against by less than a point spread between them. Um, and they are within 15 points total points scored of each other. So I will pose the same question for Ian. What is your guys' panic level if you're sitting in his spot right now?
6.5.
Yeah,
I
I'm
feel
gonna stay.
slight good.
Sorry, I was gonna say
More
I'm gonna
panic
stay.
than Swirly,
Yeah,
Tyler?
I feel slightly better about Deshaun's team.
I would agree. I think I'd be at a 6 for Ian. I do feel a little better about Swerly's team at this point.
If we're gonna be honest here, I might be at a 7 or an 8 for Ian because
Yeah,
if they've already there's already speculation about Lamar. Their bye is week 8, so he might, or sorry, week 7, so he might miss the next 2 weeks and then go on bye. So that's 3 weeks then without Lamar. Obviously, he has Daniel Jones, who has been performing very well, but eh,
Glaze.
who knows if that continues to keep up? Especially, I mean, he's just not going to continue performing at a Lamar level fantasy output. Like I think we can all agree on that. So he's already taking a hit there. His core of receivers and Brian Thomas and Nico Collins, as my redraft team can attest, they have been far from living up to their billing. Njoku, as you mentioned, is a black hole. Chase Brown, black hole. Henderson yet to produce. Pearsall in and out of the lineup with injuries. Like there's legit concern here for me. And as I talked about with Swerly as well, like his double up teams are me, Rob, and Cam Thorn, who are currently three of the top four scorers in the league at the moment. So I think this is a legit time to panic here for Ian. I think this is unfortunately going to hopefully prove Cevan's hot take, if his episode correct, that he will start out slow, panic, and trade both of his first to try to keep his season alive. But that's the way it's trending right now, and I would be very panicked if I were him.
Yeah, you laid out some good points there. I can agree with that to a degree.
To a degree, did you have any other slop to give him?
No, 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 no.
Okay,
I'm
good.
just saying my panic level's not as high, but like I have the same sentiments, just
Yeah. I mean, his team is
tempered.
still really good. And he's,
Yeah.
as we've talked about, in 4 weeks, he's played the top three teams in the standings right now, and then the third high. Literally, he's played four of the top five highest scorers in the league. So, like, obviously, no doubt that he'll likely have some lower scoring matchups coming his way. But this also comes right as his two top receivers are underperforming, and his top or second quarterback is hurt for 3 weeks. So we'll see.
I don't want to dunk on Ian too much, so Cevan, here's some.
I think he could use some dunking on from this pod every once in a while after how this offseason went.
Yeah. Cevan, if Drake May has one more match or one more game like he's been having the past 3 weeks, I will admit to you that he's the truth because I know you've been wanting to hear that from our mouths. So he's been good so far.
He's been elite so far. You
Show me,
can't say
show me,
you
show me
can't say
one more,
good.
and I'll tell you he's the truth.
Okay, Buffalo at Buffalo next Sunday night. I mean, it's the make or break game for your fandom. Can we agree there?
Sure.
Okay.
Finally, we're going to recap our primetime matchup from last week, which was Sumner v. Trent. Trent came out loud in this one, scoring 168 points versus Sumner's 128 points. George Pickens on Sunday Night Football was electric, scoring 33.4 points. Devonta Smith did not do much, scoring 4.9 points for Trent's team. And then Javonte Williams, Sumner's team scored 19, with his stud being Calvin Ridley, a part of that putrid Titans offense, scoring 5 points. This was a really impressive week from Trent, I thought. I did not see this coming out of him, truthfully, but I thought it was really encouraging to see from him as he is now 3-1 and looking really good. Thoughts from you guys?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
wanted, sorry, I just want to comment here on Sumner real quick. We all, like the offseason, we build Sumner as the floor team. Like, maybe not as much ceiling, but like his lineup is, or his roster is so deep, and he has been like exactly that so far. His totals have been 116, 148, 128, 128. And he's 2-2. And in the two games that he won, his opponent scored 71 and 102. And in the two games he lost, his opponent scored 167 and 168. So I think that's just going to be the story of his season. He'll probably end up at like 500. He'll beat the teams that play poorly against him, and he'll lose to the teams that play really well against him. But that might get him into the playoffs.
Yeah, that's
So
a
I,
great
I
point.
just I think that's really interesting because we literally all in the entire offseason, like everybody on his roster is good, but nobody's great. He'll be a floor team, and he's been exactly that through 4 weeks.
I'll disagree with one thing you said. I think Christian McCaffrey is great.
Okay, other than him.
Okay, then we're good. But no, yeah, I mean you laid it out perfectly. One thing to note about Trent, obviously he's 3-1, which is shout out to you, man. But scoring just under 170 while having a player like, Devonte Smith score sub five, and pair that with Cedric Tillman, who scored 1.5. Still a lot of meat on the bone from one of his ceiling weeks, but one thing to touch on Trent's team specifically, Quinshon Judkins looks like the truth. He gets all the work in the running back room, completely silenced, week one, Dylan Sampson. Um, but yeah, He saw 4 targets this week, which is encouraging. Uh, so yeah, I mean, Quinshawn seems like a real piece that he hit on. Uh, that is all.
I think too, it's important to note for Sumner losing Tyreek this week and then Calvin Ridley being either partially injured, removed from the game plan. Like I don't know what was going on there, but two big losses there that had been in his starting lineup that again, if anybody can replace, it's him in the league. But important to track going forward as he is going to be missing two of his better players now.
Is Ridley one of his better players?
I mean, he was a starting caliber wide receiver in fantasy. So again, for a team that was basically all floor, I mean, yeah, because
Okay.
now at this point he's gonna have to replace him with one of Travis Hunter, Hollywood Brown, Darnell Mooney, Alec Pierce, or Wan'Dale Robinson, who nobody other than Travis Hunter really inspire a lot of confidence, and he's just hasn't been out there enough. So yes,
Okay. On Trent's team, we didn't mention his name, but Brock Bowers has been pretty pretty meh relative to his expectations. So the fact that Trent's had this much success on a just a single week basis and the whole season without Bowers doing a whole lot to anchor his team, that's pretty impressive. So if Bowers gets going too, Trent's team becomes a lot more scary with that, or a lot scarier with that play.
yeah.
Yeah, Bow
Go ahead.
Bowers, I mean, he scored double digits every week, but it's 11, 12 points. But I mean, I mean, I feel like this is a good example. Like if this is Bowers' floor, I think everybody's fine with 12 points from their tight end as the absolute floor. So, I mean, I guess that is encouraging. Trent's been able to get away with his best player not playing at the floor we're used to.
Trent is ninth in points scored, but is 3-1.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, two teams that are 1-3 are in fourth and sixth in points scored by a healthy margin. So that is the duality of fantasy football, and that's part of what makes it really fun. Is it's not always cut and dry what's going to happen.
Okay. Well, that concludes the recaps from week four. We can move on to week five. Last week, Cevan went 5-1 in our picks. Reed went 4-2. I went 3-3. The season totals here are all really close. Cevan's sitting at 14-10. I'm in second there at 15-9, and Reed pulled ahead first at 16-8. So we're all within two correct predictions of each other, but um, yeah, it's real close right now.
Big bounce back week from Cevan,
Yep. And the only one I got wrong was picking Ian against myself. So
Yeah, which I told you, we both told you should have changed.
which is very lazy, and we'll see again. Maybe you're making the same mistake
Yep.
this week. Spoiler alert.
Let's get it started here. First one we have is 1-3 Swerly facing off against 3-1 Reed, two of the higher rated teams in our power rankings at the beginning of the season. Cevan has Swerly winning this one, and Reed and myself both have Reed winning this one. Cevan, why don't you start here? Give us the case for Deshaun winning this one.
yeah, this one took into account matchups and all. The only person missing for Deshaun, well, sorry, he's missing Caleb and Kyle Pitts. Um, I don't think Jawan Jennings is going to play on Thursday, so I assumed your replacement would be Josh Downs, and Josh Downs has been a whole lot of nothing this year.
I'd probably put
Um,
Hunter Henry in if Jennings doesn't play.
okay, well I mean that changes it a little, but I'm not gonna switch up. Yeah, for me this is ceiling versus ceiling. Jamar Chase, if you just take out the name value and take it for what it's worth, yeah, can he still give you 30 any week? Obviously. Um, it's not in my expectations anymore that he's going to be, uh, a weekly wide receiver one. That alone gets me to Swerly. I think it's going to be a good game. This is a get right game for Swerly and a trap game for Reed. So happy to be by myself on this one.
Is it a trap game playing against someone who scored more points than me?
But less wins.
I'd also note that I'm also missing Drake London here, which obviously, if he's missing Kyle Pitts, I'm missing Drake London, which, wouldn't give me this Juwan Jennings issue if he was playing, but comes into a tough week to be missing him with Jennings coming off a short week or coming into a short week, and, his ninth injury of the year already. So, yeah, I just didn't want to pick against myself here. I think this will be a really fun matchup. I'm happy that he does not have Caleb because Gino has not looked great so far, and he's got some dangerous guys. I definitely would not be surprised. I think that this one was a pure toss up, but I'm going to side with myself here if it's a toss up.
Yeah, I picked you as well, Reed. Deshaun owns Geno Smith and Ashton Genty. One of the sneakier injuries that has fantasy impact is the Raiders losing Colton Miller, one of their tackles, to an injury this past week. And I don't get me wrong, Genty had a great game. Geno not so much, but just starting both of them against the Colts seems pretty scary to me. He has Theo Johnson, who I like as an underrated tight end in the league, but starting him this soon um, after Malik Neighbors' injury, maybe he gets worked in right away. Maybe it takes some time. I don't know, but I'll take Reed's team. I feel a little bit better about the pieces he has there than Deshaun.
Cevan, do we want to talk about what Tyler just said and how he doesn't want to start Gino and Genty together?
Come on now. That is more about the Raiders offense
I know,
than
I'm just
anything.
messing with you.
Is
Okay.
is it though?
Yes.
Wait, what? Okay. No, we'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, I think we should just leave it at that. But
Yeah.
no, this will be a fun matchup. All the credit to Swerly here. I could easily pick him in this matchup, but if I'm going to go down, I'm going to go down sinking my own ship here.
All right. Move to the next one here. We
The
have
picture worked. We're good. Ian's back,
nice.
baby.
We have Ian at 1-3 versus Schrader, who is 0-4 here. So one combined win between the two gentlemen here. Looking at our next slide here, we have all picked Ian. Does anyone have any resounding thoughts here? It may be a little bit of a David and Goliath matchup, but maybe it's kind of just a David versus David matchup here. Don't know if you
Schrader's
guys have
also
any.
missing Josh Jacobs this week on bye, so this is going to be the most disgusting lineup anyone has ever put forth in our league, and
Yeah.
I would bet a lot of money that Ian wins this game.
He could start newly acquired Jack Bash.
You just never know when he's going to get his first snap of the year.
Yeah,
Savannah, go ahead.
this, I mean, we can't pick anybody else. Schrader's in 4 weeks, he scored over 100 once. He traded away Henry and Worthy. Um,
That's
Ian
just
just
like
needs to
not true. He scored over 103 of the 4 weeks.
Schrader?
Yeah, he scored 103, 100.65, and then 137.
Oh,
Come on, man, give him some credit. He's not getting a lot of credit on the pod. Give him some
my
credit.
bad. My bad. Sorry. Yeah, Ian, you score 105 and you should be good. So
Okay,
that's
then.
all.
Pretty straightforward there. I don't have anything else to really add, so we can move on to the next one. It's going to be Trent sitting at 3-1 versus Kay, who's 500, 2-2. Looks like we have all picked Cam K here. Uh, he is notably likely getting Jaden Daniels back this week. I know we said that last week, but I feel better about him returning this week. I
It's
guess
already
I
said
don't.
he's likely to return from
Okay.
Rappaport.
Okay. And just looking at the matchup right now, it looks like Trent has Xavier Scott and Isaiah Pacheco both in his lineup, which is just that's a really tough lineup to put out there with Pacheco in the super flex spot. So
That's disgusting.
yeah, I
Love
just
on
noticed
by
that too.
McCarthy, hurt slash
I know,
bench.
I know.
Oh boy.
Algier would be a good start here. Obviously, he's on bye, but yeah, Evans hurt as well. I mean,
A tough break for
Bateman,
Trent this week in a
yeah,
winnable matchup.
I feel like Bateman's Bateman's
Yeah,
really been dog shit this year, but
Hey,
dude.
hey, you're going to offend
he,
our host.
he literally has 3, 3, 17, 3. That's dog shit.
He's
But
still
still a
better
much
play
better
than
play. Yes,
Stop.
yes, yes. That's my point. That's my point.
I'm sure he has not finalized his lineup yet. Don't he,
If you
come on.
put Isaiah Pacheco in your superflex, your lineup has been looked at.
Trent is working on a different plane
No,
of existence than we are right
no,
now to
no, no,
be
no,
at
no.
3-1 with this many points scored.
If you put Isaiah Pacheco at superflex, you've looked at your lineup.
Well, yeah, I'm not saying he didn't change his lineup. I'm
Okay.
saying that there's no way that, sorry, not there's no way. I'm saying that there's very much he's going to change it again because he still also has two open bench spots. Maybe he's going to pick up someone and start him. I don't know. That would probably not be a wise choice either. But Trent's in a tough spot in a winnable matchup. So,
Yes.
okay,
But that's
back
why
on track
stack
for him.
this is a perfect example of why early wins matter, like before all the bye weeks. Because if you can squeak out a couple close ones before the bye weeks, then like if you go into a week like this, you're like, okay, I've already stacked up a couple wins. I can afford to take a loss and stuff like that. So
I also, I'm just looking at it now, like when I'm playing in this league, I want to start as many quarterbacks and as many wide receivers as possible. Trent is starting one quarterback and two wide receivers, but four running backs and two tight ends right now. Like the complete opposite of what
uh,
I would be trying to do with this lineup. But again, like you said, everybody will not every year, but most years people will have a lineup where a week and you're just like, there's just nothing I can do with the buys. Like
yeah, yeah,
you just are going to get screwed. And this is going to hopefully his week he can get out of the way early and like you said, stack 3 wins already to be able to make do.
yeah.
All right, very good. We're on the same page there. Move to the next one. We have Sandy, 3-1, facing off Sumner, who is 2-2. Looks like we're split here. Cevan going with Sandy. I'm also taking Sandy, and Reed is contrarian here, taking Sumner. Reed, why don't you start
Yeah,
Sumner?
I don't think you guys looked at this close enough. Sandy is going to be without Bijan, without Tucker Kraft, without Matthew Golden. Like he's without a lot of important guys that are on bye. Nick Chubb potentially got overtaken last week in their role, and while obviously Sumner's team is also in a tough spot given the injuries I just discussed, I think he can absorb that a little bit better. So uh, I'm a hard Sumner here. I think it's a game just like we talked about now. 3-1 versus 2-2, a chance for the 2-2 team to steal a game against a 3-1 team that has some crucial injuries slash bye weeks.
Yeah, no,
Cevan? Go
for me, I definitely uh looked at it well enough. Obviously he's gonna have to Sumner's gonna have to replace somebody for Tyreek, and while we do call him the floor team, it's just nobody inspires me on his bench that's gonna replace Tyreek. Not that Tyreek was, a world beater. He might have, I'll leave that one in the back. Um, but yeah, it's just I think this is one of those coin flip games personally, and I just sided with Sandy's team. Sorry.
Yeah,
Simple as that.
I really disliked some of the matchups that Sumner has with Jordan Mason against Cleveland, Trevor Lawrence against Kansas City, and honestly, even CMC against the Rams on Thursday. I didn't like those matchups, and that was enough for me to still side with Sandy, even if he's missing some of his better players. I think uh, I'm feeling really good about David Montgomery against Cincy this week. Keon Coleman against New England. It was close, but I'll roll with Sandy. Anything from you guys there?
I think we are both already spoke.
Or... Okay, I
Yeah.
didn't know if you guys had any response to that.
No, I'm with you.
I'm
All
with you
right.
too.
No, you're not.
Well, no, I'm not with your pick. I'm with the points you made.
Sure, sure. All right, cool. Coming up here, we have the 3-1 Camden Thornhill squad versus my 1-3 scrap of a team. But I picked myself. I'm the only one who picked myself. You two picked Cam Thorne. I have strong thoughts. You want them now or you want
Oh,
them later?
yeah. If you have
Want to
strong
move?
thoughts on your dub, then let's hear them.
Okay.
Okay. If fantasy football were as easy as just picking the team on paper to win every week, then that's how it'd be. It'd be that easy. But it's not. Teams don't just go 12-2 because they have the better team on paper. They they have off weeks. and they don't just steamroller competition week after week after week. I know Camden's team has been great, first in the standings, most points for. We have all been pleasantly surprised with his team, but it stops here. It stops now. This is a week of regression for Cam. You know, I'm not saying my team is going to go out there and score 180 points. That's not going to happen. No shot in hell. But this is the Isle Manor game. This is the
Oh my
Fields
God.
game against Dallas. And I'm going to score 140 gross points. And Cam's just going to come out with a 120 burger. And that's the way it's going to be. It doesn't have to be anything more than that. It's just sometimes fantasy players don't have their best weeks, and that's okay. So I'm going to take myself here.
Cevan, take
I
it away.
Yep, I respect it. Sometimes you got to call your shot. Don't think this is the spot to do it personally. Um, we've got a decent sample size. 4 weeks. Cam's averaging 156, which is, you know, insane. You're coming in under 115, so I mean, even if he regresses,
Yeah, but who has a higher start sit accuracy?
you do by 3%. So
All right.
I think that says a lot, actually, that Camden should actually be a lot better. Um, no, I respect it. I don't think this is much of a coin flip. Uh, I don't think you get to 1-4. I don't think you get to 1-3. I don't think you get to 120.
I got to
Um,
120 last week.
Tyler,
we're not playing last week, Tyler.
Tyler, last week you scored 125 points.
Yeah.
Um, what do you think Cam's lowest scoring week is this season?
Oh, shit. Probably like 136.
128. So your
Yeah.
best week this year has
hmm
not defeated his worst week. But at the same time, I also echo the sentiment that I respect the pick. And if I'm going down, I'm going down on my own ship. So I respect it, but you're probably going to get your ass beat, but I still respect it.
Okay.
Do
Take it
you
with a
want to win?
smile.
Do you want to win, Tyler?
I would rather have certain players on my team break out than win. But I mean, yes, I still
You
want to
want to be a
win.
fun bad team, just like any tanking team. You want to be fun. You want to stay in games, but you ultimately want to take the loss for the seeding.
Yeah.
You're not
Yeah.
seeding, the pick.
Yep. This
I
is
also,
correct.
just looking at it now, Tyler, you're sitting on Swerly and Ian's first rounders here. This has been an
Yeah.
ideal start to the season for your draft in 2026.
Yes, it has. I was texting you guys. I wish
Yeah.
they played each other this week.
You have three first round picks, and all three of the teams you have first round pick from are sitting at 1 and 3 right now, including your own.
It's big time.
That's that is. Imagine you all three miss the playoffs and you got three top
This
six
man will
picks.
control
Oh,
April in the league.
that sounds fun.
That would
Call
be pretty
me
fun.
call me the Bears the way I'm winning the off season.
Okay, we're literally in week
That
five.
was hilarious. That was a good one.
Okay, that's enough on my team. That's probably too much time for what it's worth.
Tyler, sorry,
Let's
how do you have Ian's first, second, and third round picks this year? Were those all
uh
those were all acquired like individually elsewhere, right? Because you've got the man's entire draft.
I do. One of them was for Jacoby Myers trade or the
The
Egbuka
Egbuka,
trade.
yeah, probably known as the Egbuka trade, if I had to guess.
Sorry, that might be all it's from. I'd have to double check.
Then probably Rob when you traded Jacoby to him.
Yeah, I think that was the first and the third you got in the Egbuka trade, and then yeah, I think
Yeah.
he's right that you got the second and the third because I think Rob would have got a pick in some other deal.
Yeah, from that big five team when they pick swapped from like 9-3, they
hmm
threw in Ian.
Sounds about
Yeah, yeah,
right.
yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Okay.
Carry on. Week 5 preview.
Well, last up we have
Prime time matchup.
this week's primetime matchup is going to be the Monkas sitting at 3-1 versus the highly talented Rob team. We have made our picks here on this one. It's gonna be a bloodbath.
Oh boy,
But we've
Ooh,
all went with Rob. Cevan is soft for the second week in a row.
soft.
I mean, we'll finish with you, Cevan, and your pick of Rob. Reed, any thoughts on this matchup?
Yeah, just a tough break for Cevan, missing Penix and Rome this week. Uh, it would have been a much closer to a coin flip choice. Like obviously the game will still be competitive if I had to bet, but just a difficult one to pick him this week against a team that's playing well and has nobody of significance on bye other than Kirk Cousins. So I'm guessing that this would have been a lot closer, but yeah, Rob's team is good and has nobody on bye. Cevan's team is good, but has two people on bye. So just a tough break.
Yeah, pretty straightforward there. Cevan starting Xavier Worthy in a super flex spot. So a little bit of an upgrade from Isaiah Pacheco and Trent's super flex spot, but still not a quarterback.
Cevan, would you have started Darren Waller or Torrey Horton at the Superflex this week without the Worthy trade?
Tory Horton.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have senses. Tyler, what any thoughts from you before I talk?
No, pretty much same as Reed.
Okay. Yeah. Obviously, losing the quarterback and the wide receiver three on the season in a bye week sucks. Rather get it out, this early. Big parts of my lineup going on buys early. It's a lot better than when I have to miss Drake May in week 14. Um,
Just
but
looking
yeah,
at your team, Cevan, I do want to note that both of your running backs are on bye in week 8, along with Marv,
yep,
and then both of your
yep.
tight ends are on bye in week 7.
But guess who I get?
I don't know.
Tyler.
Oh God, Tyler, you're gonna have to shut him up in week 7.
Tyler is missing Kyler, Trey Benson, Trey McBride, Devontae,
Oh, that's what you get when
Charbonnet.
you start 8 players on the same team in your
Yeah,
lineup.
so
Wait, wait,
so
wait. You're not facing week 7?
eight.
Oh,
Yeah, you're missing
that's
Kyler, Benson, McBride, Devontae, and Charbonnet. So
Well, Charbonnet's useless. We knew that.
right now the projections are 72 to 54.
yep,
Barn burner.
Mar
That's our prime time matchup for week 7. I can tell you already.
So so if I were to have a week where I literally don't have another running back I can put in, I'm glad it's that week. I already did planning for that. But yeah, back to week 5. Um, yeah, already talked about that stuff. Some a quick tidbit for you guys is I'm actually in the average. I have more average points per week than Robert by zero point 0.4, which is awesome. But to me, Robert every week he's projected, around 150 and underperforms, and every week I'm around like 125 and overperform. So this is also the first Mahomes, McConkey, Marv, Monkas matchup madness
yeah.
of the
That was
year.
good. Proud of you.
Yes.
You got all the
So
M's.
we're gonna see
Lad
who's
won't even be
feeling.
starting though.
Yeah, no. Oh yeah, that's true. That's sad.
Maybe
But no,
Lad will be on a different team.
that's
Maybe.
true. We're gonna see who gets the fruits of the labor. Um, I still think it's gonna be competitive. Obviously, I'll side with Rob here. He's not missing anybody. Could miss Bucky, so that's something to watch. But yeah, I think it'll be a close matchup regardless.
Yeah, it will be. I don't have a strong rooting interest in this one myself. So, all right. Well, that concludes the week 5 preview. Any last minute thoughts from you two as we wrap it up?
Can't believe we're already a fourth of the way through the year. Feels like football just started still.
And it's very sad we wait all year just for it to fly by.
I know.
Um, but yeah, I'm happy with how the first quarter of the season's gone so far. Three and one is Reed, as you know, the only other one to know. Um, it's a good feeling.
It is. I got no complaints there. Happy I stacked up some wins. But it is far from over. Shit hits the fan. Whose team can absorb it? And shit's gonna start hitting the fan soon.
Harold,
Hit
The
the shit's gonna hit the fan in. Shit's gonna
there
hit
we
the
go.
fan in for my team.
people
By
know
sorry,
to get their
by that I meant bye weeks are starting now. So teams are gonna have to
Yes.
absorb missing players, was what I meant.
they can come get their reinforcements from me.
From your shop, your old beat down, decrepit shop with all your players that are need to leave.
Yep, more or less.
Except for those players who don't need to leave, even though they should be leaving your team. Do you know anybody like that?
No.
I do.
Okay.
Well, if you guys don't have anything else, then we'll wrap up here. Very special week. We are going to do a double release this week. We're going to have a power rankings update along with some special Monkas trivia that will release potentially tomorrow morning. On Thursday morning, we're looking to record that 24 hours from now. But big power rankings update. We'll see how much our priors have changed, how much the first 4 weeks of the seasons have adjusted our opinions, and see just how much Tyler can slurp down Ian's team at 1-3. We're going to
Bruh.
see what we can accomplish. But until then, we will see you next time.